Okay, so we're diving into this whole build your own AI server thing today. And this article, I gotta say, it really opened my eyes. It's like, this isn't just for, tech giants anymore. We're talking about like actually taking control, customizing AI to fit, your life and all from your own hardware.
Yeah, it's a pretty huge shift in thinking, right? I mean, we're so used to AI being this kind of mysterious thing happening, I know, in the cloud somewhere on some server farm we can't even picture. But the idea that you could have that same power like humming away in your living room, that's where things get really interesting.
For sure. And especially, I think, when you think about all the data privacy concerns around AI these days. And this article really hammers home that point. Building your own server, it's not just about the cool tech, it's about like taking back control of your data, which is
Hmm.
huge.
Exactly, yeah. It's like right now, every time we use, cloud-based AI, we're kind of making this unspoken trade-off. Like convenience, sure, but for a little bit of our privacy,
Yeah.
But with a personal AI server, you decide. You
Mm.
control what data it learns from, how it learns, even what it prioritizes. It's almost like the difference between renting your digital life and owning it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Totally, totally. And, this article makes it seem way more attainable than I think a lot of people might assume. Like, you don't need to have some crazy supercomputer under your desk. Although they do mention a setup with, get this, dual NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPUs. That's some serious horsepower.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. That's like the top tier, if you really want to push the limits.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing. You can totally tailor it, right, to your needs, your budget. Even a decent laptop, surprisingly, can handle a lot of AI stuff these days.
So where do we even begin with this? This article jumps right into choosing an operating system. They recommend pop.os. It's a Linux distribution. Now, for people who aren't familiar with Linux, it's kind of like the more, I don't know, robust, customizable, maybe a little less user-friendly cousin of like Windows or Mac OS.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a good reason for that. I mean,
Mm.
Linux, it's super popular in the AI world because one, it's known for being super stable, and then two, it just works really well with most of the AI development tools out there. And then you've got pop.os, which takes all that and tries, at least make it a little more user friendly. So
Okay, so we've got our operating system that's like the foundation, but what about the actual AI tools themselves? This article, they keep mentioning this platform called Olama. What is that all about?
well, Alama is where, the magic starts to happen. It's like uh think of it as your command center, but for downloading, running all those AI models, and you're running them right there on your own machine, locally.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about, simple stuff here. These could be some serious AI models.
Okay, that sounds, I mean, incredible, but also maybe a little intimidating. I'm picturing like, screens full of code, having to like be a coding whiz to get anything to run. Is it really that user friendly?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. You don't have to be a coding master, Llama, it kind of handles a lot of that complexity for you behind the scenes, so to speak. It's like, I don't know, like having your own personal AI assistant, making sure all those complicated models, they just run smoothly and you don't need that computer science degree.
Okay, that's reassuring for sure. Now, the article also mentions using these like pre-trained models from this thing called Hugging Face. It sounds like some kind of, I don't know, like a treasure chest full of AI stuff.
It really is like a gold mine. Hugging Face is this online hub, right? And researchers, developers, they share their AI models. And we're talking, they've got models for you name it. Like if you want to generate realistic images, if you want to, translate between languages, even like compose music. I mean, you name it, they've probably got something for it.
Wow. Okay, so I
Yeah.
I can literally just like pluck these pre-trained models from Hugging Face, plop them onto my server, and use them. I don't have to like train them from scratch.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really like that. It's like having access to, I don't know, a whole team of AI specialists, each with their own, unique skills, and they're ready to work on whatever project you throw at them. It really does lower the barrier to entry, like dramatically for anyone who wants to get their hands dirty with, powerful AI.
This is pretty mind-blowing stuff. Okay, so we've got the operating system, we've got our AI platform, this Alama thing, we've got our library of models ready to rock and roll. But I do have to imagine like things could get a little messy, right? With all this stuff running on your server, different components, all that. The article mentions something called Docker as like a solution.
Yeah. So it's really key, I think, for keeping everything, one, organized, and two, running smoothly without a hitch. You see each AI model, it might have its own, I don't know, little quirks, requirements. And Docker lets you basically like encapsulate each one, right, within its own little self-contained like environment, almost like imagine having separate workshops,
Yeah.
right, for each of your different AI projects.
So it's about preventing conflicts, keeping things nice and tidy, so to speak.
Exactly. These containers, that's what we call them. They just make sure that each model has everything it needs, right, to function properly without messing with your other applications or even like the core system itself. So
Okay, I like that. Like designated workbenches for my different, AI projects. But instead of woodworking, it's AI. So we've got all this stuff set up, it's organized, it's in these containers, but how do I actually like interact with it? This article mentions something called Open Web UI.
right, yeah. So Open Web UI, think of that as like your AI control panel. It's basically a user-friendly interface that you run on your server, and it lets you interact with all your different AI models, but you're doing it through a regular web browser. So
Yeah.
pretty straightforward.
So just so I'm clear, like I'm not sending anything to the cloud when I'm using Open Web UI, right? It's all like still local on my server.
Exactly. Yep. Everything's happening, right there on your machine locally. All Open Web UI is doing is it's acting as that, that central control point. You manage everything. You interact with all those powerful AI tools all from there.
Gotcha. Man, this is really incredible stuff. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about
Mhm.
the hardware, the software, how to keep it all organized with Docker. But what about like the real world stuff? What are people actually doing with this, with all this AI power at their fingertips?
Well, I mean, imagine, right? You have this custom AI that you've trained, and it's, I don't know, maybe it's analyzing legal documents for your business. Or maybe it's, sifting through tons of financial data, trying to find, I don't know, trends, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Or even like an AI tutor, right, that adapts to how your kid learns, helps them, in subjects that they're maybe struggling with. I mean, the sky's the limit.
I mean, those are really incredible examples. It is, like you said, it's like having a team of, specialized experts, but they work for you 24/7. And I guess, instead of paying, thousands of dollars in consulting fees, you put in a little time, a little effort, build your own AI server.
Exactly, yeah. And because, you control all the data, you control the models, you can make sure that your AI is aligned with, your values, your priorities. Yeah. Which I think is something a lot of people are, starting to think more and more about these days, especially with these large language models. It's about, taking back some control in a world that's, I don't know, increasingly run by algorithms, right?
Yeah. No, it's empowering, really, when you think about it like that. This article, it paints a picture of this future where personalized AI, it's not just some, luxury for the tech elite. It's something that, anyone who's willing to learn, to experiment can take advantage of.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I think one of the coolest things about all this is the community that's springing up around it. Like if you go online, people are, sharing tips, they're helping each other troubleshoot, collaborating on like open source projects. It's really cool to see.
That's always a great sign, right? When you have like a passionate community, means there are people there to help newcomers, and who knows, maybe you learn some stuff, you make some new friends along the way. So
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And as more people dive in, who knows what kind of incredible stuff we'll see. I mean, this technology, it really does have the potential to be, I don't know, transformative. And we're really just getting started.
it's exciting. It's a little daunting, when you think about like the possibilities, but also, some of the challenges. But it does feel like we're kind of on the cusp of something really new and different.
I think you're right, yeah. And for anyone listening who's, feeling inspired,
Yeah.
say don't be intimidated,
Yeah.
Just start small, experiment, tap into those online communities and most importantly, like have fun with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Great advice. Great advice. Well, this deep dive, it's given me a lot to think about, that's for sure. Who knows, maybe in the not too distant future, like building your own AI server, it'll be like as normal as, I don't know, setting up a Wi-Fi network.
That's the dream, right?
It is. It is. Well, on that note, I think we're just about out of time. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.